Welcome, fans, to episode 102 of Rangers Head, presented by Lucarelli Law. If you're in Florida and need a lawyer, call Lucarelli Law and tell them the boys at Rangers Head sent you. Sorry, I had to do it.
Happy Halloween, I guess, from Cousin Ed.
It's Halloween,
that's
Coach.
About? I completely forgot, to be honest with you. I was going to try
It's Halloween tomorrow.
Nice.
I completely forgot. I was going to
put
my cowboy hat on, and
you could have kept it on a little longer.
Maybe next.
I could have because the sound was muffled. But
can't breathe in this thing.
I put on for the fans listening. I put on a Darth Vader mask for the intro. So, yeah, that's the extent of my preparation for Halloween this year. Actually, it's not true.
Yeah, you prepped your dogs pretty well for Halloween. I saw a few minutes ago.
We got Cody as Robin. Callie, our golden retriever puppy, is going to be Batgirl, and Theo's Poison Ivy, and I am the Riddler. So we got the whole Batman theme down.
You got a costume?
Yeah, I do.
All right.
I do.
Looking forward to that.
I don't have the hat or the mask, though. You'll be disappointed. I did it too late in the game. You know, every year I do this on like the 28th of October. I'm like, all right, let me buy a costume. I need to buy one in like September.
Are you going to a party?
No.
I would have liked to see you in the Jim Carrey with their costume, the skin.
We're gonna sit out front and pass candy out to the kids dressed in, Batman.
Oh, okay.
Suburb life. Yeah,
it's good stuff.
Nice.
Looking forward to it. So what's going on, boys?
For Halloween, I haven't been to a good party in years.
I just don't go to parties anymore like that.
Same. That's why I haven't been to one. But it was fun to be creative and dress up once a year. And I always used to shave my beard into something creative, so that was fun.
I was gonna say, yeah, you got to bring that back.
When's the last time you dressed up for Halloween?
I don't know. What were we, Tony? When we were the Avengers, probably. I was Tony Stark, so I had the beard like all cut up like Tony Stark, right? I don't think I did anything after that. I'm trying to remember. I don't think so. I think that was the last one.
I'm gonna be a marshal tomorrow night.
Nice.
You going to a party?
No, we're trick or treating with the kids.
Oh, that's nice. You know, it's a crime to impersonate a federal officer, right?
A fictitious? What if it's a fictitious federal officer?
Oh man, it's always something.
I'm gonna be Uncle Fester.
That's right.
Mike, you don't need much of a costume to be Uncle Fester.
If anybody's going to arrest me, it's going to be you, I'm sure.
Yeah, well, I don't have the authority.
You sent your uncle to the big house.
Oh man, we got a lot to cover. We're actually recording this live during the Rangers Winnipeg game. They're in the second period right now. 13:45 to go in a 1-1 game. So we'll bring you some live reactions if anything happens. Add that in. When you guys are listening to this, the game will be over. Anything else going on, boys, before we get into jersey profiles?
Yeah, real quick. Someone on Twitter, I found an artist. She does pencil sketches, and I bought 2 of her drawings, prints from her, and she sent them over from Germany. Wait.
One of them is sideways. Yep, there you go.
There we go. I got Mika, like a close-up. Look how detailed that is. Isn't that crazy?
That is great.
This is a pencil drawing. And then we got Mika and Kreider about to do their hug or whatever after the game. So
that's unreal. Look at the gloves.
Yeah, right? It's just an awesome, 2 awesome drawings. I had to get frames for them. So she I won't say the price on here, but she gave me a good deal and told her I'd give her a shout out in the show. So thank you to Elena. And you can find her on Instagram, SIMILDE. She does a lot of NHL players. She actually has a Shesterkin one you could buy. And she did Joe Thornton I saw recently. And she does a lot of like San Jose Sharks players. So definitely check her out. She's super talented and very nice and generous. So thank you very much for my drawings. I can't wait to hang them up on the wall behind me.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Nice.
Where are you going to hang them? Just looking at the wall.
Well, I still got to rearrange the artwork above my head. So I think I have a little bit of room up there if I arrange it the right way.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
All right. Well, those are pretty cool, man. Awesome stuff.
Yeah,
But,
I was really excited about it.
Yeah, for sure. All right. It's episode 102. Let's hop into Jersey Profile, sponsored by Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey.
Our buddy Oscar, a huge Rangers fan himself, started his company by stitching his own blue shirts. Once he perfected his craft and started to fall in love with his work, the man started to grow. Oscar stitches every jersey with love and dedication to authenticity, which never disappoints. His talent is hard to find in any store out there. Are you like Cousin Ed? You have a lingering jersey curse that every player he gets a jersey of gets traded or injured and hurts the Rangers team? You want to change things up? You want to take an Eric Lindros jersey and make it a vintage Ken Hodge jersey in the late 70s? Got an old jersey collecting dust in your closet? Want to throw your name on the back and add a nice number of one of your favorite players? You can bring it back to life with a brand new kit at Oscar's Pro Stitch. So head on over to Oscar's Instagram at Oscars PSH. That's OSCARS PSH to check out the countless tarps he's already done and to place the order for his next one that possibly can post on Instagram and get ready to wear it to the next Ranger game or any event that you have coming up. Tell them the boys from Rangers Ed sent you and receive a special discount at Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey. Go get them, Rangers.
All right. Brian
Oscar.
Leach, number 2. Brian Leach, 1988-89 Calder Trophy, 91-92 Norris Trophy, 93-94 Conn Smythe Trophy and Stanley Cup champion, 96-97 another Norris Trophy, a 9-time All-Star, inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in 2009. 981 points with the Rangers. He ended his career with over 1,000. He finished up with Toronto and Boston. Plus 24 for Coach Ed as well over the course of his career. And that wasn't all with good teams. The Rangers had some pretty bad teams in the late 90s, early 2000s, where he got some minuses. But, yeah, anything you guys want to say about Leachy?
I do know.
Yeah, I think his profile says enough. I remember going to January 24th, 2008 to his retirement night. That was a nice memory. I wish I got to see more of him play, or I remember seeing him play. But other than that, I mean, obviously probably the best defenseman the Rangers have ever had. We'll see how Adam Fox shakes out, but as of now, I think Brian Leach stands alone. What were you guys going to say?
Go ahead, Mike.
Every time I think about Leach, it brings me back to my dad, because I know it's like cliche, but like all those Ranger commercials you see, like, you know, me and my dad would always watch the game growing up and stuff, and I have like distinct memories of my dad like just yelling at the TV for Leach, and it was definitely one of his favorite players. So,
I mean, overall, you might say you want to compare him if Fox might be better than him scoring wise in the end, but all around defenseman, there's no way. I don't think he can compare to Leach. Like I said, when I watch highlights of him, I don't remember watching him that close because, you know, there was a lot was going on at the time, travel hockey and whatnot. But physically, he played a tough game. Tougher than you would think.
I mean, you're saying there's no way that Fox will end up compared to Leach. I think that's way too early to say. I mean, we don't know.
Only because Fox does not have the same physical game. I'm not saying Fox is not going to be up there points wise and as a defenseman as a Ranger, but as far as an all around defenseman, physically scoring, minutes, everything, the only difference there is that I can compare if Fox goes for 15 years is the physicality. That's going to separate them in my opinion.
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think also they're just different. Like Leach I obviously was young when he, the beginning of his career, but I just have memories of watching games, and he just flew on the ice. He had
skating wise too.
His speed was just out of this world for rushing the puck up the ice. And I just remember Coach on power plays, the puck never left the zone. He kept everything. Him and Zubov in particular.
Yeah,
that one year,
incredible.
Right? They just couldn't clear it on them. But look, Foxy's great, and we'll see where he ends up. It's still way too early in his career to compare him to Leach, though. Like you said, all those accolades there, unreal career for Leachy, and one of the best Rangers ever. All right, so let's jump into our game breakdown. Prior to the last episode, the Rangers were 3-2-0. Since the last episode, 3-0-0 on this 5-game road trip. They sit at 6-2-0, 12 points, first in the Metro, tied for third in the NHL in points. They started out in Calgary, then went to Edmonton, both wins, a 3-1 win in Calgary, a 3-0 win in Edmonton, and then they went to Vancouver in a tough game against a pretty comparable opponent based on the stats thus far this year. Both teams entered the game 5-2 and on 3-game win streaks, and they pulled it out in overtime 4-3. So let's talk quick. I mean, there's a lot to talk about, but let's talk quick about Artemi Panarin. 8-game point streak to start the season. He scores a goal tonight. Makes it a 9-game point streak to start the season. This guy is just on fire right now. He really looks like, we could say it every episode, but thus far, and the sample size is growing, it looks like he's got a chip on his shoulder, Coach. I mean, what do you think?
Well, to me, the big to me, again, the big difference to me is he's putting up the points, and I don't see the giveaways. So I don't see the predominant, a lot of giveaways. Of course, every player is going to have a few here and there on the passing, but I don't see that. I think he's playing a smarter game, and that's what I'm encouraged. That's what I'm encouraged about.
Yeah, there's none of that like pond hockey mentality that we complained about almost every episode last year. There's none of that. I think, Cousin Ed, I was just listening to our episode from last week earlier today, and you said it best. We never saw him driving to the net, taking shots from the slot. It was always those perimeter passes, perimeter shots, rebound shots on net, backdoor passes. There was no center of the ice for Panarin last year at all. Yeah. Neutral zone, offensive zone, defensive zone. It was all perimeter. Hey, I mean, that was his game. He obviously excelled in that too, but adding a whole nother dynamic to his game is a game changer.
Yeah, I think that first year in 2019, we saw it. But last year, not so much. What stands out to me is 10 shots on goal in the last 3 games, right? That's a big difference. I know he only scored 1 goal, but he's shooting the puck. He's getting to the scoring areas and shooting the puck, and that's going to lead to a lot of goals, a lot of chances if he continues to do that. And look, at the end of the day, we knew Panarin was going to score 90-plus points. Everybody could bookmark that in. Coach said it during our fantasy draft, right? He's a great fantasy hockey player because he's getting 90 points. But is he going to play like this in round 1 of the playoffs, I think, is what everybody wants to see. So it's going to be a theme all year. If Panarin keeps playing like this, it's going to be like, great, but what do you do? What are you going to do in the playoffs, right, Mikey?
Yeah, no, I mean, he's playing with purpose. And I think the sample size is big enough to say that I think it's going to be consistent. I do. And I hope I'm not wrong. So come playoff time, I think he's definitely playing with a chip on his shoulder. I think he kind of blames himself this past playoff. I'm sure a lot of fans do too. And he's kind of showing that, he's playing with a purpose,
Yeah, with his goal tonight, he's on pace right now for 46 goals, 73 assists, 118 points. So he's on fire. There's no question about that.
And the big difference, one of the big differences, if by him shooting more during the course of the season, now the scouting report by goalies and everybody else isn't going to be he's passed first. So now they have to play a different game, which gives him an edge because now he could shake it off and pass it down low. There's a lot of different things that can happen. So that's where it could lead to more points.
And you kind of saw that in the Vancouver game, Coach, where he got the puck in the middle of the ice there, and the 3, I think it was a 5-on-3 on Fox's goal, the one where Little Ed, I think he posted he stole Kreider's move. Was that against Vancouver or Edmonton? Maybe it was Edmonton. He kind of redirected the puck on the side. against Edmonton. So you saw the three players, collapse to the middle, and Fox was just backdoor, and he just looked like he was going to shoot. He faked it, dished it over, so it opened that pass up. You're right. It's the same thing in every sport, right? It's like you throw a fastball to set up a changeup. You run the ball to set up the play action. Hockey's the same thing. If you don't shoot and everyone knows you're going to pass, they're going to stop it. It's like Zibanejad on the power play. Everybody knows that's coming. He can't score. He can't score on a one-timer anymore.
Yeah, but even that, they mixed it up. He's fake. He's taking like a hard slap shot pass down low. They're thinking a lot. Obviously, that power play's clicking real well. They're figuring it out. It's
for sure. The power play's buzzing. Power play's buzzing. And speaking of power play, 5-on-3s against Vancouver. Taking advantage of the power play goals. I mean, how many power play goals do they score in these games? They were 3 for 6 against Vancouver, 1 for 3 against the Oilers, and 2 for 5 against Calgary. So 6 power play goals on 14 chances. Pretty good. Obviously, you want to see some even strength scoring, but the reason I bring that up is we keep talking about Laffy and Kako and Hedl, whatever, getting them power play time, except for coach. He doesn't want Hedl on the power play. Getting them some power play time, but with the first power play unit clicking like this, I don't see a path for them to get power play time. If they're going to score at this rate, it is what it is. I mean, I don't know. I mean, just an interesting way to, it's difficult because I want them on the power play, but if we're going to score 6 out of 14, I mean,
that's what I was going to say. I mean, also at the same time, I saw a lot of not a lot of buzz online, but people saying back the Rangers back to their old selves of just being able to score in the power play and not at even strength. But if you're going to be given the power plays, you have to take advantage of the opportunity and score the goal, right? And then at that point, the Rangers, I mean, if you're looking at it, they had a 3-0 lead. Well, actually, the Oilers game is they had 2 even strength goals in that game. But the other games, if you get 2 power play goals, you're playing with a lead most likely, or 3 power play goals, you're playing with a lead. So at even strength, you're focused on the defensive side of the puck and protecting the lead. And you look at the Rangers' defensive stats, even strength. I saw them online. They're like top in the league, all of the defensive stats 5-on-5.
I think they're second.
Yeah, in some categories, they're first, second, third. They're floating around like top 3, top 5 in the league in like every category. So that's something they struggled with, even strength, in prior years to this. So obviously that's a great thing in the right direction. And then we talked about that in the last episode. If you play the proper defensive hockey, the even strength goals will come. And then also they're getting the power plays by playing the smart hockey. They're drawing the penalties.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, the Rangers, like you said, the tops in the league, right? They're third in the NHL in goals against. With Boston has only given up 12 goals in 8 games, by the way. They lead the league. Dallas has given up 15 goals, but in only 6 games. And the Rangers are third with 16 goals against in 8 games coming into tonight. So, if you're going to only give up 16 goals and then capitalize on your power play, that's a recipe for success. I don't know why fans would complain about that.
What are you going to do?
If you're even strength.
No, our fans aren't complaining. Like
in general,
fans like the NHL.
No, I understand. I'm saying I don't know why Rangers. You're saying Ranger fans aren't.
No.
I got you.
Other NHL teams are saying the Rangers aren't a threat. They're only a threat on the power play. Because remember last year, the year before, the Rangers only had a power play. They couldn't score even strength, and that was like their flaw.
Yeah.
So now they're saying the Rangers are back to their old selves. Blah blah blah.
Well, I mean, come playoff time, it is true. You need to score at even strength. I mean, that's the reality.
Yeah, but what is there? Here's the stat I want to know.
3 playoff goals a game in the playoffs, or power play goals a game in the playoffs. That's also a good thing. So
there's less power plays. That's why.
Yeah.
What is their goals for at even strength versus goals against? What's that
Mikey.
plus? What's that differential?
I'm not sure. I bet you it's even close to it.
I'm saying that's a key. That's a key because, like in the Vancouver game, Vancouver plays a tough defensive game too. They're going to shut you down. You have to take what's given to you. not every game you're going to have a run and gun game where you're going to be able to get odd man rushes and even strength goals. So, like Eddie said, they're winning. I'm not going to complain if they're winning. They're hitting, they're blocking shots, they're playing hockey in a very good way right now.
Yeah. The power play is buzzing at 34.48% right now.
That's incredible.
So, they're 10 for 29 on the power play. So they got 10 power play goals and the shorty
It's
by
got to be
Kreider.
top in the league, right? Who's ahead of them in that?
The Devils.
Oh,
I'm not sure,
Devils.
but
had to ask.
we'll talk about that in a second. But 10 power play goals, the shorty by Kreider and the Trouba empty netter. So that's 12 goals that aren't 5-on-5 or even up 3-on-3, whatever. So that would be 13 goals for, I guess, in the 8 games at even strength. Is that right, Mike?
Hockey Reference has them at 25 goals for and 16 goals against, but I'm trying to do the math with the power plays.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I just did it. 10 power play goals, 1 shorthanded goal, 1 empty net goal. I think that would be
13.
13 even strength.
So what's the goals against?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Why do they not just have that stat? But whatever.
Only because my
readily
theory is
two shorthanded goals.
If it's a glaring negative in even strength, then I say it's a problem. You follow what I'm saying? But if it's even or the Rangers are a little plus, then it's not a problem because obviously they're way ahead on the power play,
Yeah, and they're also getting used to a system, so you got to give them. I think they might be a little more conservative right now than they probably will be by midseason. They're not as comfortable, so they'd rather not make a mistake at even strength. That's fair. We'll see.
Yeah, I agree.
So, Coach, you brought up New Jersey. I thought this was interesting. New Jersey is 5-2-1, so they're okay, right? But 33 goals for, 30 goals against. Rangers have 16 goals against. So, I mean,
defensively, they're like, Buffalo's very similar. They're not good in their zone.
You know who's last in the Metro in goals against, Coach? You'll never guess.
Carolina,
35 goals against.
I just guessed
35.
it because I figured it was.
Because I said you'd never guess. Yeah.
Well, Freddie Anderson was out for a while.
Still, they play a team defense, right?
Well, you got first of all,
100%.
you got Tony D'Angelo on the back end. I'm sure. I'd like to see his plus minus.
Mike, look that up next. Speaking of,
I'm surprised they got a good defensive core.
Speaking of goals against, I think we got to talk about the goaltending. Jonathan Quick with a shutout, 29 save shutout against Edmonton. I know they didn't have McDavid, but he made some good saves in that game.
They still had Draisaitl. They still have plenty of guns.
Vander Kane, coach's favorite Darnell Nurse on the back end, so they have some talent. And Quick shuts the door, 29 saves. And then Shesterkin comes in against Vancouver, and 2 of those goals I feel like he should have. He doesn't look to me like he's 100% sharp yet. A couple of games he was fantastic, but then that overtime, he was like unreal. So he lets in this like weak goal to tie the game 3-3 and then shuts the door down in overtime. The goaltending is
Wait. How do you say that's a weak goal? Did you see the traffic in front? It was impossible for him.
Look, I get it. Any goal that's scored in the NHL, you can make an excuse for the goalie. I'm not saying. I'm not saying like he's a.
I'll be the first one. I'll be the first one to say it was a weak goal, but that's a tough goal. Someone's got to get in that shooting lane, and the guy had a shot at the far side. Whatever. That's your opinion.
All right, that's a tough goal. Then what about the shorty? Tyler Myers comes in and snipes one.
Oh no. Well, that was a 2-on-1. That was a tough one. He knows that was a bad one.
He's got to make that 2-on-1 Tyler Myers, right? Like, come on. That's like Dan Girardi coming in on a 2-on-1 and sniping a shot. Like, that doesn't happen.
No, that's a misplay on his. That's a misplay on his part for sure.
So he's just letting in goals that I'm like, come on. And like I said last episode, I think we just need that big save, from him. He doesn't, he doesn't get that many shutouts. Honestly, he always lets in like one clunker. But either way, I'm not here to criticize him because my point in all of this was just that he shut the door in overtime, and the goaltending has really impacted the team. I think they're both playing well right now within the team structure and are really impacting, the team. It's not just the defensive effort. I think the goalies are both playing well. So I wanted to give them some love.
Yeah, there's nothing like playing or coaching. I mean, you see it in the players' body language. I was watching highlights on the 150 from the Vancouver game, and I think it was Washington. The goalie let in like 2 shots. You just see the players' heads go down on like savable shots, just takes the wind out of them. It's a tough mental thing when you're working so hard and you turn around and the goalie, muffs one, and, not a 2-on-1. I mean, like a bad goal. 2-on-1. That was a bad one for Shesterkin, but a 2-on-1 is a grade A scoring chance. But, when there's a weak one, it just takes the air right out of it.
It's the most deflating thing ever.
Yeah, but when you have a goalie,
yeah.
When you have a goalie like Igor, though, and he lets in a weak one, it almost like could motivate you because you're like, let's pick him up. He picks us up every game,
without a doubt.
It's not like he's like Kemper probably lets in like a lot of weak goals, so the Capitals are probably,
I don't know if it was Washington or whatever the highlight was, but you saw the plays after it went in, like 3 of them, the head just went down. Like, Jesus, how did he not save that,
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Little Ed, quick. Did you see Schneider's comments after that game about Jonathan Quick? They asked him about his goal and an assist against Edmonton, Schneider's. And then the first thing, he answered that question by saying how like happy he was for Quick for getting the shutout and how great of a teammate he is. I mean, he's only been his teammate for 8 games. Like, what kind of impact do you think a guy like Quick is actually a backup goalie, veteran, he's having on like the young defense and the young players on the team?
Yeah, I think we spoke about it, just like his work ethic and going to Benoit Allaire and wanting to get better. Just doesn't only show it for like young goalies, but just young players on the team in general. And I mean, Coach Ed and I, we always like when we have our player meetings, we always have the goalies and the defensemen sit on one side and the forwards sit on one side. So like when you're addressing the room, where to look, and like you kind of just group them together. So and we give the goalies defense the stars of the week for defensive players all the time. So like you kind of just group them together, and I feel like they kind of feel as a unit together as well. So for Schneider to just come out and give him like props like that, I think that's a huge thing for a young player, and just shows Schneider's character in general as well. I know you asked me about Quick, but just for Schneider to come out and say something like that just says more about him than anything.
No, I was kind of asking about both. I mean, just number one, clearly Quick's had an impact on the team.
I think he looked like old Quick in the Oilers game, making split saves and sprawling out for pucks, and he can move. I mean, something clicked for him, and he's moving like he's young again. And I'm sure Allaire has a lot to do with it. I actually screen recorded on my iPad of Valley talking about Quick and like how he noticed he changed his style a little bit. So thought that was very interesting. I'll send it your way.
There was an interest. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, basically he's just sitting in his net a little bit more, kind of like Lundqvist did, and he's kind of like waiting for the puck more as opposed to lunging at it and like challenging him. So it's giving him more of a split second to react because he's a little bit older. And he's Valley said he's like kind of watching the puck right into his glove. Like he just like sees it. You can tell that he's seeing the puck a lot better. So
well, he said in that segment,
I'm probably not explaining it well.
No, I saw that segment, and he was talking about how Allaire that Quick actually went to Benoit Allaire, or maybe Micheletti said this, went to Allaire and was like, fix me, pretty much. Like he had a good attitude. It wasn't like, I'm a Stanley Cup champion. He was like, fix me. And then I think Valley was talking about how Allaire did it with Marty Biron, did it with Hank. Like Hank came over from Europe and played a different style, and then Allaire changed his style, made him play back in the net more. And he was saying that Quick has been working with Allaire. So, I mean, guess you could teach an old dog new tricks, right? That's the idea. So, look, Quick's got the talent, if he's older, I get it. But if he can adjust his game and, play at a high level, then he's going to lengthen his career. Like Coach said last episode, whether it's with the Rangers or elsewhere, he's going to hang on.
It was an amazing thing because after we were listening to the overtime the other night, Ed, on NHL in the car, they had Cujo on, was doing the Vancouver game. So the guy was asking him, how did you adapt in your career? He goes, I had a goalie coach that simply told me one thing, that when I was down, I was getting up on the wrong foot and it took more time. He changed that little thing when he got older. He was in the league 10 years. He changed that little thing. And it just like, it was, he said it was a completely different style.
How are you even able to change that late in your life career? You know,
right.
like,
That's what yep.
Practice.
Yeah, practice. A lot of practice.
By the way, speaking of practice, did you guys see that Allen Iverson commercial on MSG that they've been pumping out? You're talking about cash back? Kevin Hart.
Yeah.
Not even a game. He's talking about cash back. So funny. It's actually it was just on. Yeah, it's the Chase.
Anything's better than
Chase
all
commercial.
the MSG. Well, they play out all the commercials, so that one's.
It literally just came on right now. I said that. Anyway, so all right, let's talk about Alexis Lafreniere. Laffy tied for second on the goals with 4 coming into the night with Panarin's goal. I guess he's technically third on the team. He even scored a power play goal. He had a beautiful one-timer goal. He's scoring in all different kinds of ways. A deflection in front of the net, a one-timer, a tap-in on a 3-on-2, like all kinds of ways. And he really just looks like a more confident player. Tonight, I don't know if you guys saw earlier in the game, he had a breakaway right in the beginning of the game and shot it high and wide. He was going for a top corner snipe and missed. Kako also missed on a breakaway in the first period. So there's something like a Kako and Laffy first period breakaway misses together in a game. But anyway, Laffy really
set the tone.
He really just looks like a different player. I mean, I know the stats is what everyone's focus is on. He's got no assists, but he should have like 8. He just, I don't know. I just feel like the kid is gaining confidence. So Laviolette's doing something. And I want to say perhaps it's just leaving him where he is, leaving him in the top 6 with Panarin and Hedl, no matter what happens in the game. Just leave him there. Let him play. Give him 20 games. Give him 25. Let's see what he does. And I feel like that's giving him confidence. He doesn't seem like he's playing in fear of being demoted or anything like that. And I think it's really changing the way he plays.
Well, I think that's a lot easier said than usual because that line is clicking right now. So I think it would be interesting to see if that line cools off a bit. But at the same time, if Panarin keeps playing like this, I mean, it's like I don't really foresee that happening, so we'll see.
I mean, a smart player like him, if he's playing with Panarin, it's got to open up the ice for him. Like Eddie said last episode, he's just got to find open spots. He's going to get opportunities. I had 1 assist expected in I think it was the Vancouver game.
The tally. So what is that, 5?
Yeah, he's got at least 5 there. He's got at least 5. We tallied it last episode at 4.
I mean, legitimate. He sent in Hedl on a little mini breakaway, and Hedl
snaked
what he did.
He's snaked right now. He can't buy a goal.
If he's short, if he only scores 50 points this season, does that mean my bold prediction is right or wrong?
You said 55.
Yeah, but these should have been points.
Well, Mikey, right now
you better keep the tally then, Mike.
Right now, I think that what's hurting you, Mikey, is what's hurting me in my prediction. Hedl's on pace for 62 points, Laffy 41 with no assists, so he'll be close to that if he keeps at this pace. Kako, a goal and an assist only in these games. He's only got 2 points, so I think that,
he's getting top 6 minutes. So I don't want to hear nothing.
He's not. That whole line though, I feel like at even strength is more defensive. Like they're
not
Zibby
yet.
Zibby and Kreider are cashing in on the power play. I was looking at this earlier because I was trying to figure this out. Zibanejad 62.5% of his points on the power play, and Kreider 42.8. So not a lot really at even strength for them. And they also have a shorthanded point as well. So we'll see. We'll see what happens there. But overall, Coach, coming into tonight, it's almost like if they lose, they had a 4-1 road trip. So it's like almost like a free game. They should feel loose, right? But I found before you answer that, I also want you to answer this. The Rangers leave this game, Winnipeg, which is central Canada, come back home, play Carolina, and then go back to Minnesota, which is central United States, right near Winnipeg, and then come back home. Who planned that? Like, why didn't they just play Minnesota next? Just make it a 6-game road trip.
Yeah, I don't understand that. I didn't know that. That's ridiculous.
It doesn't make sense.
It's got to be very difficult, and it's got to be even more difficult because the Garden has so many other events.
Yeah, that's true too.
That's got to be it. I mean, but
how long do you think it takes?
They couldn't just stay out here an extra couple days if they had to come home to play Carolina. Carolina's probably here to play the Islanders and the Devils, maybe.
Dude, how hard do you think it is to make the season schedule for the NHL?
I can't even imagine.
I mean, there's got to be
our men's league roller hockey director shit every season, and he has like 15 teams to worry about.
There's got to be in a room, like I feel like for a week, these people just got in a hotel together, like the league representatives, team representatives, arena representatives, city representatives. Crazy. They probably all have to get together and no, we can't. We have a Billy Joel concert that night. Like
that's got to be.
A different day.
So they must start like now because the schedule comes out pretty early.
It's got to take.
Besides MSG, are there any other arenas that have NBA teams that play at the same spot too?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Coach, look that up.
Staples Center. No, wait.
LA.
Do the Kings play in the Staples Center?
Yes.
Chicago.
It's the Crypto Center or whatever it's called now. Cryptocurrency Center.
Cryptocurrency Center.
The TD Garden. I'm pretty sure the Celtics and the Bruins.
Probably Minnesota, right? I remember there was a quiz. There's like 13 cities that have all 4 sports in them. So probably all 13 of those.
So the Stars and the Mavericks? I don't think so.
I think hockey does it by computer, this schedule.
I think I think there's a lot of teams because the Flyers and the Sixers, I'm pretty sure too.
Yeah.
No, I think the Sixers have their own stadium in that complex, Ed. But anyway,
Mike, you asked the question. You can look it up. I wanted to know D'Angelo's plus minus too. What happened?
-5.
Yes. Yeah, I texted you guys. I was waiting. Yeah, he's a -5 this season.
Okay. Unreal. All right. So, yeah, anything else from these games? I mean, wait, Coach, you didn't answer me. Sorry, I got distracted with the schedule.
You didn't give me the second part.
The second part of the question. Winning the first 4 games of a 5-game road trip like this, it should make the team like loose coming into tonight, right? Because even if they lose, it's still a 4-1 road trip.
I mean, I'd like to see them come out. I think in the coach's mind, he wants to win, but he'd be happy coming out with 1 point out of this game, and it'd be unbelievable, right?
Yeah, I mean, you want to get 2 points in every game.
It would be like the first time that's ever happened in Rangers history to get 5 wins or something like that.
Yeah, I don't think that's ever happened.
I don't remember exactly.
No, I think I came across it.
Speaking of logistics, I was listening to Valaquette, and he said that the Canucks, because of so much traveling they did in the last 10 days, they only had 1 practice on ice.
Wow.
Because of how far they are away from everything. So they said that's more of a challenge to talk it.
Yeah. That's interesting. Yeah.
Probably a lot of player meetings.
Some teams are just out in the middle of nowhere, too. So it makes it a little more complicated.
Edmonton's got to be similar.
For sure. All right. Before we move on to our broadcast banter, we're going to do a quick little fantasy hockey update. We brought you the fantasy hockey draft live as an episode, the highlights from that. So I figure it's time, after 3 weeks into the season, to update the fans on the standings. In first, unfortunately, it sits Rise of Gauthier, Hockey Night in New York's team, Stefan and Sean, in first place. My friend Corso in second place. Oscar's Pro Stitch Hockey is in third place right now at 53 points. Cousin Ed's Floppers recovered last week to take fourth place. That's me. Neil Villapiano in 5th, Little Ed in 6th.
I dropped.
I
was in 3rd last week.
Yeah, you were. I had to wait for me to. I said we're gonna do it next week after I need to win and catch up. I beat Mikey P pretty good. And then we got Mikey P's fiance in 7th. Mikey looked that up in 8th. Coach Ed sits in 9th. Coach Ed's doghouse. Lucarelli Law in 10. The Massholes, which is Mikey P, Mikey 150 in 11th, and Jeff from Mind Your Pucking Business in last place. 14 points out of 11th. So there's your little update for all the fans. I played Neil this week. I really want to win this. Yeah,
really Neil beat me last week pretty good. But
I don't know how to keep track of it.
I didn't have McDavid in the lineup. And I just looked at it now, and I saw I have so many guys on the bench that are playing tonight. I forgot to set it this morning like an idiot. So I got to be more responsible. I did add.
The excuses started.
It is. It's a genuine excuse. I forgot to set my lineup this morning. So I added Bonino last night because he's leading the Rangers in block shots, and he's up top in the league in block shots and faceoff wins. So
he leads all NHL forwards in block shots.
Yeah.
Bonino. How many do you have in these games?
Top for defensemen, right?
16 in 3 games.
Yeah, 16 block shots.
They were saying that in the post game last night when I was watching the Vancouver post game, and I was like, I looked it up immediately. I was like, how does no one have Bonino on their team? So I picked him up real quick, and I dropped
because he has no points. He plays 8 minutes a night.
I know, but that's a big category. Block shots. That's like an automatic. That's a big category to be able to win every week or whatever. So.
Yeah, to pull that from a forward for sure.
That's how Corso's winning. He's got Trouba leading the league in hits and block shots.
It's true. All right, so we'll keep up with that next week. After I play Neil, I play Little Ed. So I'm looking forward to that matchup. And then Coach Ed plays Neil. And then I play Coach Ed. So we'll update you after I play Little Ed and Coach Ed. We'll see who wins those matchups. But
I gotta talk to you. I gotta talk to you off the air and get a little bit of help on what I'm doing here. But
yeah, I need to. I have a few questions myself.
All right, we'll talk about it off the air. We'll talk about. I know you did. I didn't say you didn't. I said I gotta recall you.
All right, let's go to the broadcast banter.
New graphic for you, cousin Ed.
I'm looking forward to this. I love
Play it one more time.
I love it. Look at Joe. Joe's so focused too, and Sam's like,
"Yeah." Courtesy of Tennessee Meg sent me that GIF. I think she made it herself.
That's.
Maybe we can. We got to make it a little bit longer, Mike. Maybe we can edit that on Clip Chat or something.
Yeah. Put some audio on that.
2 seconds is too quick. Yeah. And we have the Power Play Go audio, so we'll throw that on there.
Yeah, or put the consume the pizza audio. Remember that? If you're listening, Pizza Hut, if you're listening, I'm ready to consume the pizza.
No free ads.
Classic.
Sorrento's pizza, if you're listening.
No, that was the real quote, I think. So in the Vancouver game, JT Miller. I texted you guys before the game about how JT Miller changed his career and became a more mature player. And I did like that mock quote. It was almost identical. Like I almost nailed it. I really almost nailed it. They're like, he's really developed into a leader in this group. It took him a while. He had to mature. He bounced around a couple teams and then he goes, I can't believe he's 30 years old or something. And
already, Micheletti said that.
Yeah, and then Sam was like, yeah, he was just a teenage youngster with the Rangers. So they went on about JT Miller. And then the whole banter about Trocheck and Miller being buddies, because I guess they're both from Pittsburgh. Miller told Trocheck, go easy on me on the face-offs. Yeah, I'm sure that's what he said. I'm sure.
Yeah, I love when they do that little dialogue.
I got one from the Vancouver game. I forgot. The Vancouver guy took a shot. Sam goes, that's off the side of the net. Well, maybe he got the glove on it. No, he goes, and maybe it grazed the post. but I think he got the glove on. And I'm like, what did he do? Tell me what he did. Oh, man. He had 3 options.
Vancouver game, shot blocked. I think Keandre Miller with the block. Pedersen moves in. His shot is blocked by Keandre Miller. That time I am sure it was Keandre Miller.
Classic. So good. So good. You know, I noticed there's – go ahead.
In the Calgary game, they zoomed in on like a pretty attractive woman behind the Rangers bench, I think. And Sam's just like, and that young lady's favorite player is Mika. Let's take a look at Calgary's coach's profile, shall we? And then he just like moved on. Like they just left this woman on the screen for like 10 seconds and like he couldn't figure out what to say. It was so funny. He's like, and that woman's favorite player is Mika. Okay, let's move on to the coach's profile.
Yeah. I saw earlier tonight, so they were cutting to commercial. So the broadcast itself starts to cut to commercial, puts the graphic on. So Sam's like, "We'll be right back. It's 1-1." And then he's like, "Oh wait, no, they're not going to commercial, Joe." And then Joe's like, "Yeah, well, they dumped it in from behind the red line from the, because of that whistle is not a TV timeout." And they start explaining why it wasn't a commercial. just move on, guys. Like they're like explaining how the commercial breaks work. But I noticed, Sam, you notice this, like there's certain players he always says their first and last name.
Full name, yeah.
Darnell Nurse is one of
Kako.
Right, Capo Kako. He always says Capo Kako. Darnell Nurse, and that's kept in at the point by Darnell Nurse. He doesn't say like
Dougie Hamilton.
Yeah, there's certain guys. If you just pay attention, you'll notice it. Those are all good examples, Coach.
There was no Micheletti best shooters in the
ever
league this series.
I keep saying I'm going to pay attention to it, and I don't. So, by the way, they're starting a third period.
Probably immune to it.
Still 1-1 against Winnipeg. So let's see if the Rangers can close out this 5-game road trip with a sweep. All right. Let's shift down
we have to give Sam props before we move on from Broadcast Banter. At the end of every Broadcast Banter, we have to give him some props. Deal?
I like that.
You go ahead. You got it.
The Cadillac trivia question is, who was the last Rangers player to start the season with like 9 points or whatever?
No, 8-game point. No, 8-game point streak.
Whatever. He nails it with Gabrick. And Joe didn't even have anything to say. He was like, okay.
No, Joe said Leach. Joe goes Brian Leach.
I know, but then when Sam gets it right, Joe doesn't even say like, wow, how'd you know that? Whatever. He just goes, all right.
How does he know?
Sam cheats? Do you think he cheats? I don't think so. I think he knows it all.
Unless I think it's got to be from the trailer.
He announced
trolling. You think they're just trolling Joe at this point?
No, I don't. I think Sam knows it. He's a student of the game. As far as his history goes and stats, he's been announcing the game, the team for 40 years.
I heard that.
He's seen it all. He knows.
Yeah.
There was one question
specifically, Marian Gaborik in like 2000 what? 2000 what? I don't even know what
2009.
Yeah, I was gonna say early 2000s.
He nails it. He nailed one recently too from like the 80s. It was like he knows it right away. And like Joe's like, I think it's like Ulf Nielsen. And Sam's like, no, Tomas Sandstrom. And it's like right. And he's like, like whatever. He's like, he's always like so proud. And Joe's like, you're looking it up.
And when he gets it wrong, Joe loves it.
Yeah.
Like, oh, they got on that one.
Didn't they used to have? They used to have like the tally. Didn't they used to have the tally on the screen of?
They should do that again. Yeah, they should do that again. That was really good stuff.
I'm surprised they got rid of that. That was funny as hell.
Yeah, Sam actually gets upset when he gets it wrong. So I'll say kudos to Sam though on the Keandre goal. He still like calls the game-winning goal and stuff like intense. Like it's like a Twitter clip. Everyone is like,
he's still a fan. You gotta, he's still a fan for sure. You got to catch one of those interviews I was talking about last week. He's very passionate about it. He's great.
My favorite one from him recently is the 5-goal game from Mika. That was unreal. like that call. He's really still just pulls out the good. He makes a lot of gaffes. I get it, but like that big call, he nails it every time.
Yep.
But you know what? I watched the Devils game the other night. I forget who they were playing. And Danico and that announcer do the same thing. They're talking about personal lives and stuff, and the game's going on.
They all do it.
They gotta fill the space, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's like that Simpsons episode with the soccer announcer. Center passes to wing, back to center, back to wing, to center. Anyway, all right, let's go to our stars of the week. All right, offensive player of the week. I'm gonna throw everybody off and start us out here. I went a little bit off the board. I took Adam Fox.
Wow.
I think Fox was a catalyst for offensively. On the power play in these games, he had, I think, 5 points, 2 goals, 6 shots on goal, 3 assists. My instinct was I'm going to give Fox the defensive player of the week, but he was a -2, despite all those points, right? So I don't know. I'm going with the Coach Ed rule. If you're a minus, you can't get the defensive player of the week. That's my rule, right, Coach?
Why is it always
like
the plus minus on me?
I just love trolling you on plus minus, but I
You
like
hate
that
the
as
plus
like
minus, but you keep bringing it up because you know it has a meaning.
I like it in the 3-game sample size. I like
it. Has a meaning. It's not flawless. It has a meaning though.
Right. So my rule is if you're a minus in the week, I'm not picking you for defensive player. But I really liked his game offensively, so I took him. Little Ed, who'd you take?
I went with the episode namesake, Laffy Taffy.
Laffy Taffy.
Yeah, he scored the 2 goals. He's on a little bit of a hot streak. Gave him some love.
I like it. All right, Laffy. Mikey Produces.
You sounded surprised.
I am a little surprised. I think he's viable. I don't think he's like a bad pick or anything.
My plan is to not erase this player from offensive star of the week until he plays badly or poorly. So I'm giving it to Panarin.
The bread man.
5 points since the last episode. He's got another point tonight. Make it 6 for the fans out there. 2 goals, 4 assists. Keep playing hot, bread man.
He scored the first goal?
Yeah.
They only have 1 goal.
Whatever. I threw $5 on that.
Winnipeg just scored. It's 2-1 Winnipeg. Coach.
I'm behind.
Oh, sorry. Coach.
I'm going with Mikey. I got bread.
The bread man. All right.
Especially for the fact, like I said, you see what I have there? Points versus less giveaways.
So the goal, Schneider fans on a keep-in. Nikolaj Ehlers comes down, sets up. Oh, God. Schneider and Hedel.
Yeah, but let's look at that play again, Ed. Who was a little slow on reacting, getting back?
Well, Hedel was back, but then he was lazy getting back.
He was late because he was watching Schneider pinch. He should have been back earlier.
Wraparound.
He got back, but then after the puck went into the corner, he didn't go back to the front of the net. He was slow in getting back to the front. So, yeah, I think Hedel and Schneider not good on that, but we'll see. Still time. 14 minutes to go in the game. All right, defensive player of the week, Little Ed. Who you got?
I went with Gustafsson, Goose.
I
drew the Goose. Got a few points, a goal this year, this stretch. I think he just came in. He's playing real well. Unfortunately, I saw that he had 2 penalties in this Winnipeg game, so probably not his best game this one. I haven't really been paying too close attention. But, no, I think he came in. He's a great third pair. And really just solidifies the Rangers' third pairing is like they can go up against anybody in the league, in my opinion. Love the way he brings some offense. He makes some nice passes, big body. Just a good defenseman all around, solid.
Yeah, what is your I'm curious, what is your take on his actual defensive play versus, his points or whatever? I mean,
I think he's solid. I mean, I think he, I don't know, complements Schneider well. I don't want to say they're a similar player, but I don't know. I guess you could kind of say that. I don't think he throws the body around as much as Schneider, but I think he's just solid. He's not over that. He doesn't lean too heavy in either direction, offensively or defensively, you know?
Yeah, I mean, on the bottom pair, he gives you more offense than you need, but I feel like defensively he's been more solid than I thought he was going to be. He does have some giveaways, but he moves the puck, and that happens when you move the puck.
Yeah,
so.
I guess I didn't really know too much about him coming in, but I was expecting him to be more defensively than offensive, and the way he skates, the way he moves the puck was surprising to me.
I mean, he's on the point on the power play at PP too.
Yeah, his bill is the opposite. He's more of an offensive-minded D than a defensive. But that's why I was curious what you thought defensively.
I think he plays pretty solid on the defensive side, getting back. But I'll keep an eye on. I'd like to watch that a little more. It's a good point.
Yeah, I want to key in on him.
Coach, who you got for defensive player?
I got a guy that could probably get it every week.
Lindgren.
I'm going with Lindgren. I watched him a lot in 2 of the games. I watched him a lot without the puck. I watched him on Draisaitl a lot. And his play without the puck to me is he just never puck watches or stops what he's supposed to be doing. I just give him a lot of accolades for that. You watch him without the puck, and it's any defenseman should watch what he's doing.
Yeah, and I'll say it again. His skating continues to surprise me. He really is a lot quicker than he gets credit for.
He moves the puck well. He moves the puck above average, not phenomenal, but above average. And his obviously his grit and his effort is incredible.
I went with Shesterkin and Quick.
Yeah, it's not a bad. I was thinking the same thing.
No, it's great.
I think they were both awesome. So we already talked about it. Mikey Produces, who you got?
Quickie.
Giving it to the man who's got a 982 save percentage, even though he's only played 2 games. But he's got a shutout.
You're not worried about the sample size on that one, huh, Mike?
Insane.
You got to give love to the shutout.
Yeah, that was nice.
And to think everybody was the theme coming into the season was, is he going to retire because of how bad he was in the preseason?
Yeah,
now he's getting defensive player of the week.
He was playing with not the full team in front of him. He made a lot of season.
He did, but he let in some weak ones. But
yeah, he wasn't great in
the
preseason. But look,
he definitely turned it around for sure. Either way.
Yeah. All right. The Jesper Fast Key Contributor Award. Let's go to Coach Ed first.
I mean, I was going to give it to Trocheck for his face-off wins. He's been doing phenomenal. But then I saw the stat, Benino with 16 blocks in 3 games. I mean, I don't know how you could give it to anybody else.
I like that. You went with a forward for with the key contributor. My brain left my head for a second. All right, Coach. I like that pick. Little Ed.
I went with Quick for this one, for the shutout against a tough offensive opponent. Kept the winning streak alive. And, I mean, what was it? 59 shutouts in his career, most ever for an American-born goalie.
Mikey Produces.
He is finally out of my doghouse. I'm giving it to Mika Zibanejad. Got his first goal of the season. He's been playing hot. I feel bad for putting him in the doghouse, so I wanted to give him a little love.
Yeah, I like that. Alexi Lafreniere. Playing well.
Contributor.
2 goals, playing well in that line. He might be the only thing that is keeping Hedl and Panarin glued together for now. So, went with Laffy. All right. Highlight play of the week. Coach Ed, I know you got all the highlights. Start with you again.
I mean, I got to give it on the Fox to Zibby pass on the 5-on-3 to tie the game against Vancouver. It looked like he was going to shoot it. He dished it across.
Oh, yeah, that was unreal.
That was to take the lead. That was the
Valley said any other player in the league shoots that puck. Fox is the only one that makes that pass.
Hold
No,
on.
I think
Sam
that was the
giving
tying
his
goal.
answer.
I think that was the tying goal.
Did Sam get the
Whatever.
trivia?
I don't know. I'm behind.
I don't think he got it. I don't think he got it because he was explaining it. Blake Wheeler is one of 3 Rangers to have been a captain for the Thrashers/Jets franchise. Who are the other 2?
No, and played on the Rangers.
I said he's one of 3 Rangers to
Oh,
have
I
been
didn't
a
hear you say
captain for the
Rangers.
Thrashers and Jets franchise. Yeah, it was Ray Ferraro and Bobby Holik. All right, now it's time. Oh wait, Jesus, I'm too busy watching the game to do this podcast. All right, so my highlight play of the week is the Shesterkin save in overtime, and then the save on the follow-up right before that game-winning goal there by Keandre Miller. Little Ed's got the same. By the way, I noticed the goose emoji. I like it. And the brick wall for quick.
And then I drew Shesterkin laying out for the save.
Well, I see you drew somebody laying out for a save. I don't know if it's clear that it's Shesterkin.
Well, I put the number 31 on his back. The Rangers just scored, Mikey? Is that where you're pointing to the screen?
No, but the Winnipeg just took a penalty. So we're about to see the power play.
Let's go.
Oh, well, if you're going to point at the TV in the middle of the podcast, it better be more than a hooking penalty. Jeez.
I mean, we were just talking about the power play, so here's our chance. This is what matters.
Why am I so far behind? I can't even go ahead. I can't even skip.
See if we can tie this game up. All right. Mikey, your highlight play. Miller's OT goal. Keandre Miller in overtime, for sure. That was definitely a highlight play. All right. Now it's time for Coach Ed Copyright Doghouse Award, sponsored by Suiter's Sweet Treats. Coach, we're going to go to you first. It's your doghouse. Last week, you had Blake Wheeler in the doghouse. Is he still in the doghouse?
Wheels is out. I thought he had a good game against Edmonton. He's been hitting a couple of posts. I think he's a little snake bit, but that means he's in the right spot. And I'm going.
You see, it's got to be closer.
I think it's Kako, right? Yeah.
Kako in the doghouse.
Top 6 minutes, 2 points on the season. Playing with Zibby and Kreider, there's got to be openings, even though they're not doing great either 5-on-5, Zibby and Kreider, but he should be getting a couple of points. That could be why they're not getting 5-on-5 points.
Yeah, I can't say I disagree. Last week, I had Wheeler and Igor in. I'm taking Igor out. I'm leaving Wheeler in, though, because I know he's playing better in these games, but until he gets a point, he's in the doghouse. I don't care. I'm leaving him in until he gets a point. But I also agree.
Not looking good for my bold prediction, that's for sure.
Yeah, mine either. I had Kako with 30 goals, and Kako's going in 30 goals. And Kako's going in with Wheeler. I agree with you. I got to see more production. You know, he's not playing like poorly, I guess, but we need production from him. And, you know, if he's going to play with 2 of the best players in the league, you know, I don't know what else they can do besides put him in first power play unit, and they're not going to if he's not putting the puck in the net with Kreider and Zippy. So, Mikey, Little Ed's got the same. Kako, Little Ed, you had the whole team in the doghouse last week. Is the whole team out, or
the whole team's out except for Kako, because I had them in there for team consistency. They got a nice win streak going, so obviously that's pretty consistent. So they're out.
Okay, the whole team's out.
The motel is vacant. Yeah, Kako's got the only room.
And Mikey, last week you had Mika Zibanejad in. You obviously made him your key contributor here, so he's probably out. I take it.
Yes, he is definitely out. I am putting the man who is 78 points shy of hitting 1,000 points for his career. I'm putting Wheeler in the doghouse.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's been a struggle for Wheeler. He's been getting better. I'm still hopeful that as he gets his feet under him and, just acclimates himself. It's a new franchise for like the first time in his career. It's tough. So give him a break. He's been a great player in the league, and give him a little bit of time. But it's been a tough go for him.
He's also making league minimum. He's playing a third line checking role. He's playing good defensive hockey. I mean, I saw Mind Your Pucking Business. I commented on one of his posts. Everyone's got to chill out a little bit on Blake Wheeler. I think Coach Ed was kind of shooting for the stars with the 30 goals, setting expectations a little too high. So I think as long as he definitely needs some points. Hey, maybe he'll get the game tying goal against Winnipeg. Let's hope for that and see what happens.
That I would love.
8 minutes.
I don't know. Every time the Rangers trade somebody to the other team, they always score against the Rangers the first game back.
Yeah.
Yeah, JT Miller scored for Vancouver.
Like every time
on a sick deflection. He called it too. He's like right here with his glove, and then he put his stick in that spot and he hit his stick. Crazy. All right, so Kakko, Wheeler, and Kakko, and Wheeler. So we're in pretty much agreement. Kakko and Wheeler need to up their game. All right, so should we throw to Mikey P?
Do it.
Yeah, so Groovy, it's time to throw it over to Mikey P with your Rangers Ed 150, the fastest 150 seconds in the National Hockey Podcast League.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Rangers Ed 150. Last week there were 3, and now there are none. We've officially done away with the remaining undefeated squads, and it's time to get down to brass tacks as the Bruins, Avs, and Golden Knights all come back down to reality. We had a horrific moment across the pond in the UK where former NHLer Adam Johnson, just 29 years old, passed away after a terrible accident in the Nottingham Panthers game against Sheffield on Saturday night. Our thoughts and prayers go out to his family, friends, and teammates as they mourn their loss. Back to the NHL, we have 4 divisions to get through, so without further ado, out west in the Pacific Division, Vegas is still crushing it at 8-0-1, having only suffered 1 overtime loss to the Blackhawks on Friday night. Vancouver still hanging on to second place, but the big surprise has no doubt been the play of the Kraken, Flames, and Oilers. Those 3 teams have combined for 5 wins through 24 games, and with the exception of Vegas, this division is as upside down as it will ever be. Edmonton's been without McDavid for the past few games, but they should see him back in action tonight, Sunday night. Even with McDavid coming back, though, the bottom line is that these 3 teams have played terrible defense to date, and if they want to move forward in the move up in the standings, they need to clean up their back ends first and foremost. Further east in that Central Division, Colorado and Dallas are still 1-2, and it should stay that way for most of the season. Winnipeg could stick around. They got a great defensive core anchored by Connor Hellebuck. They're currently tied in points with Dallas, but the Stars do have 2 games in hand. So Winnipeg could be a potential candidate for that 3rd place spot in the Central Division. Colorado has suffered back-to-back 4-0 losses, one to Pittsburgh and then one to Buffalo 2 nights later. In their loss to Buffalo today, Cale Makar went into the boards awkwardly, immediately went down the tunnel. He did return to the game, but did leave subsequently several times in the 3rd period. So it's unclear if he is injured, and if so, what the extent of that injury may be. Back to the Eastern Conference in the Atlantic Division, Boston did suffer their first loss to the Anaheim Ducks after surrendering a 2-goal lead. A 2-goal lead with 2 minutes left in the game. Toronto continues to be a very confusing squad. They've lost to Chicago, Montreal, and Florida, but they've also gone on to beat teams like Dallas and Tampa. Last week I said their defense was garbage, and I still believe it is, but credit where credit's due. They held the Caps and Stars to 1 goal apiece and beat each 4-1. The Leafs are currently sitting in 2nd place in the Atlantic, and it is likely that they could creep ahead of the Bruins into that 1st place spot at some point in the near future. Detroit dropped 2 since last week, and they seem to be coming back down to reality as well. 37% of their goals have been scored on the power play, and they need to figure out how to score 5v5 more consistently if they want to hang in the top half of the Atlantic Division standings. Shane Pinto of the Ottawa Senators was suspended 41 games for gambling. Important to note that it was not gambling on the NHL, so Ottawa will have to come up with a plan B for that second line center position. I would just like to point out the irony here that one, Ottawa is in fact sponsored by a gambling and sports betting website in Bet99, I believe. And two, if you've watched any NHL games in the last 2 years, you would know that Gary Bettman has sold his soul to the sports betting world, and every other commercial you see is for a gambling website. So figure it out, Uncle Gary. Finally, in the Metro Division, the boys in blue are clean and clear in first place, and if I were a Rangers fan, I would be mighty happy with the way they've been playing from goal line to goal line. Igor Shesterkin has been the least impressive of all the Rangers this year. It's not to say he's been playing poorly, because he hasn't. He's been much more average than anything else. The impressive part of the Rangers has been their defense. They undoubtedly have a top 3 defense in the league this year, and with the way their offense can get clicking, they're looking to make a serious run in the playoffs. Philly dropped 2 last week, so it seems like they're also coming back down to reality after their hot start. Hurricanes got Freddie Anderson back after he took a puck to the face and missed 3 games, so hopefully he can fix up their back end, maybe keep some pucks out of the net. Nico Hischier left the Devils' Friday night game against Buffalo after taking a high hit for Connor Clifton and is currently listed as day-to-day. New Jersey is another top-tier team that's also struggling to keep the puck out of their own net, and I have a sneaking suspicion that it may be because teams have realized that Vitek Vanacek is maybe not as good as last season made him out to be. We got 3 big ones for the Rangers this week. On Monday, we're off to Winnipeg to face off against the Jets to finish up that West Coast swing, and then they'll fly home to face off against the Canes on Thursday night, and then it's off on the road again to Minnesota to face the Wild on Saturday night. Tough travel schedule for the boys in blue, so hopefully they can shake off that jet lag and come away with 3 W's. Until next week, this has been your 150.
Yeah, while that 150 going on, Chris Kreider ties the game on the power play on a Fox shot, deflects it in. It's 2-2 with 6 minutes to go in the third period.
Can we talk a little bit about that sports betting situation?
Yeah, I think we can. But first, I think we should talk about what happened across the pond.
Was that Kreider's tip or was that Fox's?
Kreider's tip, yeah.
It looked like Fox scored, but they gave it to Kreider,
no,
so he must have tipped it.
So,
former NHL player Adam Johnson was cut on the ice with a skate and ended up passing away in England. He played in the English, the equivalent of the NHL in England. Freak accident, but I actually saw the replay, which wasn't easily found because of what happened. It was kind of blocked from online. I don't know. Did you guys get a chance to see the play?
No.
I did. The PA was able to find it somehow.
Yeah, the guy is like cutting across, and this player just like dives in the air and throws his skate at his head. I mean, it was crazy. I've never seen anything like it. You guys should watch it. It's really insane play, and not I mean they said they're going to investigate it for manslaughter because it was like a criminal act. It was like almost intentional.
Really?
Yeah, apparently this guy doesn't have a good history in the league, and he's had not similar controversies, but some other questionable plays as well.
Yeah, I'll send it to you, Coach. It's really sad. Obviously, not saying we should watch it for any other reason, but just to assess if it was an accident. I don't know. I mean, it's pretty serious. I think that they need to investigate that thoroughly. Because look, there's a certain thing. I'll put my lawyer hat on for a second. So there's a certain thing called assumption of risk, right? So when you play a sport, you assume a certain amount of risk, right? So for example, in football, if you get hit and concussed, like you can't sue the other player for battery and medical damages, right? Because you assume the risk that you're going to get hit, and you understand that a concussion might happen. The question is whether there's certain types of conduct that are outside the scope of that, right? So like when Marty McSorley took his stick and chopped Donald Brashear, that's not like what you consent to when you play hockey. Like I'm not consenting to somebody taking a stick and slashing me in the neck, right? Or the head. So this is one of those plays that I think is a little interesting as far as whether they might actually charge this guy criminally. It's in a different country too, so I don't know their laws, but I don't think there's been many, if any, incidents on a sporting, I don't want to say field because it's a rink, but at a sporting event that have been charged criminally It's an interesting. I don't know, Coach. Can you think of any in your life that a criminal charge came from it?
I think way back when I was a little kid, one of the famous incidences was I think it was Teddy Green got slashed in the head by somebody, and he actually had a metal plate put in his head, and he played with it, still with no helmet after. But I think when that happened, I think the guy got brought up on charges, if I'm not mistaken.
Actually,
that was like I'm going to say it was like 1968, 70, something like that.
Yeah,
I vaguely
that's
remember.
Crazy. McSorley did actually. In the example I just gave, when he hit Brashear, he was charged with assault in Canada and convicted. Sorry, go ahead.
I vaguely remember either when I was like maybe 16, 17, or it might have been when I was in college, and it was a player that was 16 or 17, but he had a vicious slash to the head. Dad, do you remember, Coach? Do you remember that at all?
No, I don't remember.
And I feel like he got thrown out of. I feel like he got thrown out of Long Island hockey or whatever league he was in. And then there was also a similar controversy whether or not he should be brought up on charges. I forget exactly what the incident was. I thought maybe I could spark your memory a little bit, but
no, it doesn't.
What about the Todd Bertuzzi play? I think on Steve Moore. I think that when he chased him down and hit him in the head, that might have been a criminal charge as well. So maybe it's more likely than I thought. Yeah, I think he was.
I think the Bertuzzi one was brought up. Yes, I agree with you. I'm pretty sure.
I think that was criminal charge as well. So sad story out of England. We obviously wish his family and friends, our condolences. It's really sad. Only 29 years old, Adam Johnson. So the gambling, Coach, you want to talk about that? What did you want to say?
I mean, I read a little bit about it when it happened. That kid's from Franklin Square, Long Island, by the way.
Shocker. And he's a gambler? I'm shocked.
Long Island, but it says the rule in the collective bargaining agreement is you cannot bet on NHL games. And it says in the things that I read that he was not accused of betting on NHL games. So then why is he suspended? I don't follow the whole thing.
I think what I heard, at least on a couple of podcasts, were that Pinto gave his betting account, which was a legal account, to somebody else to bet on games. And the league was unhappy with that because think about it like this. Like if I'm in the NHL in fantasy land, right, in my dreams, I'm in the NHL and I have a betting account. I bet on the NFL. That's legal. The league allows you to do that. You can play fantasy sports. You can bet on football. It's fine. You just can't bet on the NHL. But the risks of me saying, okay, Mikey, you can use my account. Go make some bets because, I'm a millionaire. So go make some bets. What's to stop Mikey from betting on the NHL? And then if that happens, there's a risk that I can say, oh, I gave it to somebody else. So Mikey can make bets on my account for me, and then I have plausible deniability that I didn't make bets. So I think it was just that somebody accessed his account. That's all I could surmise.
Why is he playing? Why is his friend playing on his account? Like just playing for him?
To me, if that's the case, that's just stupidity.
Yeah, I mean, they came down hard on him too. 41-game suspension.
Well, he admitted he said it's like this was my fault. He didn't try to appeal it or anything, and that's what it is.
I mean, there's also the CBA, Coach, is very detailed and lengthy, and there's probably some rule in there that says that you cannot have a legal betting account and have anybody else using your account. If you have an account, you have to use it. That's probably a rule in the CBA that he violated.
I mean, I agree with the rule. I just think it's just stupidity that he let that happen. Yeah. If anything, if I want to do that and say something is going on, I say to Mike, "Here, Mike, here's $1,000. Go bet what you want." Why does he got to use his account? Igor. Open up an account for yourself. Give the kid money or whatever.
But what I'm thinking is like his friend's probably good at gambling, so he said, "Here, take over my account, make me some money."
That's just stupidity.
Why? Yeah, I'm not defending it. I'm just saying that's just what makes sense in my mind. He's like, "Here, just play with my account, make some money for us or something."
But how makes it worse? Think that that's okay? You know what I mean?
I'm sure
It's
he
just
didn't. I'm
stupid.
sure he didn't.
It's dumb.
I think
what
he's
I'm
No one
saying.
thinks
genius.
they're gonna get caught until they get caught.
So the
Nah.
thing with
Doesn't even
Pinto,
make any sense. Like
the
you,
thing with
you have
Pinto
to
that
bet
makes it-
that much where you want. You know, I'd be like, if it was me, I'd be like, use my account, but don't bet on a friggin' hockey game. Don't even bring it up. You know.
Yeah,
no,
I
but
mean,
that's
maybe-
the thing. That's what he did, and that's why he got suspended. Nobody bet on a hockey game, from what I saw.
Oh,
There
he
was
just
no
let
betting in the
somebody
NHL.
use the account.
Yeah, and he had an account which was operated in violation of what's permitted in the CBA. Period. What exactly occurred, I don't know, but there's no accusation that he was betting on the NHL. I mean, even at the end of the day, my thing is, I understand why they have these rules, but who cares if he's betting on the NHL? Like, is it like an insider trading thing? Like, why can't Pinto
because you
bet
can
on
know
like the Rangers?
you can know what you
who's
can know
injured or
if players
something?
are injured and what
Right.
lineup strategies. You can know what starting goalie before
Okay.
everyone else knows and stuff like that.
Sure,
I'd be
if
more
that's the
pissed
thing. But
off. I'd be more pissed off if I was the gambling website if that was the case.
right.
Right.
That's probably why the rules.
Well, it's the
exist.
integrity
It's
of the
not-
league, and they don't want anything to get out that players are betting on the NHL games.
No,
Then it's
I
like,
don't-
the
I don't
Well,
NHL
it's like
you
the
should-
whole
I
Pete.
could've-
It's like the whole Pete Rose thing to me, though. It's like Pete Rose is not in the Hall of Fame in baseball. He bet on his team to win, so it's like he's not throwing games. Like, I'd be more concerned. Integrity is about like throwing games. So do I think it's good that he's betting on his team to win? No, I don't think players or coaches should be betting. I agree, but it doesn't like bother me that much. You know, I'd be
Oh,
more
I
concerned with like a ref making bets on a game that the ref,
Yeah.
Right,
you know,
right.
that's what would concern me. Like that guy.
No,
in
or
the
like you
NBA.
said, betting on you to lose because you could throw the game easily, especially like
Right.
a quarterback or something. I mean, that's the longest yard, right? The movie.
That's what the Black Sox did.
Yeah.
They threw the World Series. Crazy.
I mean, to me, it's this. I can agree with that rule because if you make it a vague rule that you can bet on your team, then then there's going to be arguments. All no, don't bet on NHL. I'm fine with that.
Yeah, I'm fine with that too. I agree, but I just
No,
don't
but-
really care. It doesn't
Other
bother me.
leagues, they're not allowed to bet at all. Like NFL, you're not allowed to bet on any sport at all. So
You can't go to the
Interesting.
horse track.
apparently not.
Winnipeg
Wow.
gets a power play with 18 seconds to go. The Rangers clear the zone. Looks like we're going to head to overtime. There's 4 seconds left. I hope I didn't jinx it. All right, Coach, we got a point.
There you
Rangers
go.
get a point. They headed to overtime, and while they set up for
Great.
overtime, let's jump over to our trivia.
I got a 2-point question for you guys.
Okay.
I need a team and a year. You get a point per.
So if I get the year but not the team, I get a point?
Yeah, I'll give it to you.
Okay.
I say Zibby gets a shorty in overtime.
It's a nice one. In honor of Brian Leach's jersey profile, what team did New York Rangers trade Brian Leach to, and what year?
I think I'm right.
Coach Ed's got Toronto in 98. Cousin Ed's got Toronto 04. Little Ed's got Boston in 03.
I fucked it up.
Is it Toronto or Boston? I was like, oh, wait, which one did
Toronto.
he sign?
Definitely
It is
Toronto.
Definitely Toronto. Definitely Toronto. So
And the
Coach
year?
and Cousin Ed get a point.
Oh,
And
Just sworn it's
Cousin Ed is right. It was in 2004.
let's go. I love being right. Makes my day.
I thought he finished in Toronto. for
No,
some
he finished
reason.
in Boston.
Yeah, obviously, but wow, I could have sworn. I can like picture. I could picture like where I was when I saw it on ESPN that he got traded.
He's the only reason I remembered it is because when they made the McFarlane figure of him, they made it as a maple leaf, and then they made.
I thought they made a Boston one also.
No, they made the Chase figure as the Ranger. Well, we're in overtime. We're done. Should we just watch the overtime and wrap up? Or like, what are we doing? What do we got going on here? I'd love to see some live Coach Ed analysis of the 3-on-3 here. Let's go. Do your Micheletti impression.
Actually, 4-on-3 right now.
Yeah, 4-on-3. You're right.
I'm behind, so I'll let you guys take it away.
Who's out there? Zibby, Keandre, and Trouba.
App is
Trouba, yeah.
I mean, you got to have – this is where Igor's got to stand strong. That's your fourth penalty kill. That makes it 4-on-4. That's how they're playing it. They're leaving the guy all alone in front. And that's Igor's guy. That's how you play the 5-on-3 as well.
Oh. All right. Good save by Igor there and a one-timer by Josh Morrissey. Every team – I feel like every team has a good power play, man. I don't know. It's not true, but every time they played Vancouver, I'm like, this power play is good. JT Miller, Pedersen, Quinn Hughes.
A lot of good players in the league.
Did you guys see
Scheifele, Morrissey, Connor? I mean, that's a good.
Did you guys see the stat comparison on Fox to Quinn Hughes?
Yeah, it was pretty even.
Frozen.
It was pretty even, I thought.
Quinn Hughes actually has more goals. I think he had more points overall.
Something just happened. I don't know if it was my feed or did you guys have like a weird like rewind?
Yeah, mine had to like reset.
Mine went back to like 4 minutes and 50 seconds in overtime.
Power play. 8
clear by True. Now I'm live.
Laffy out there, Coach?
What's that?
Oh no, it's Benino. I thought that was Laffy out there.
They killed a penalty.
Oh my God!
Yep. Action, boys.
I think now I'm ahead of you guys.
Fox, Trouba, Zibanejad, and Kreider. Did you guys see in the Vancouver game, Panarin didn't go on the ice for like 3 shifts, and Joe kept saying, "No Panarin, no Panarin."
Yeah, I thought he was going to score after that.
I hope everything's
okay. Come on, Fox.
It was a bad giveaway by Foxy.
Not in overtime. Can't do
you
that.
You got checked from behind. This whole it's interesting to see this the players. Actually, it's weird, Coach, because it was a 4-on-3. It's now a 4-on-4 until the whistle, right?
Correct.
It's interesting.
Yeah, because
how the players
3-on-2 power play.
Right, how the players focus so much on puck possession that they intentionally like leave the zone and reset. It's more important to just control the puck. I kind of like that style. It's a lot of fun. Schneider's out there.
Yeah, they should almost
4-on-4. You just roll the D.
I mean, I wouldn't, but they're probably just trying to give everybody
a
shake.
Here goes Hedl. Coach Ed's favorite. He lost the puck
all alone.
Panarin with Hedl out there. He's in. Got a stick on it. Morrissey got a stick on it. Damn. Oh God, these overtime games.
Too many stick handles.
I don't even care.
I think a shootout would be good for Igor right now.
Yeah, I don't know. You guys heard Mikey P. He said Igor's been average this year. You guys think?
Why does he got to stick handle so many times? I mean, I'm not trying to rip on Hedl, but why does he have to cross the blue line and chop onions?
I think he's trying to get a stick out of the lane, maybe.
But that's what took so long for him to shoot, and that's what forced him to get the stick on it. Yeah, I tell our players all the time, you don't have to stick handle 6 times before finding the sweet spot on your stick. At this point, he should know that. He's been working on it in the offseason every season with a piece of plastic in his backyard. Find the sweet spot on your stick and rip it.
He does that shit all the time. Checked from behind, loses the puck. Laffy's out there. Who's he with? Trocheck? It's a good little duo. Uh-oh. Oh, nice play by Trocheck. Trocheck's been pretty underrated this year.
Oh, 100%. But he plays a great 200-foot game, man.
Yeah, I really like his game this
A
year.
lot of back checks covering for point men.
Oh, Laffy misses it. Puck was up in the air.
Oh, that one's a little behind you guys.
Stick out of his hand. Oh, Laffy knocked his stick out. All right.
Yeah,
Keandre. Here we go. Give it to him.
Laffy's got it buried.
Zip it, Chad. Coach Chad calls it.
Yes!
Let's
go.
Yeah.
I called all 3 goals.
Oh, Coach didn't see it yet. Wow.
Mikey didn't either.
There's your one-timer.
Ahead of you guys.
And
There's your one-timer.
Nice.
Well, I said Zibby with a shorty, but
All right,
Very
Zibby's
nice.
coming
5-0.
out of his shell. Now
Wow.
he's got to go
Huh?
home. He's got to go home and take care of an infant.
road
man.
trip, Coach, not a homestand. The opposite of homestand.
all right, whatever.
Yeah, seriously though. Wow. This is a big win too, because I mean, we weren't glued to the game, but Winnipeg was up 2-1. We tied it late. And then to win it in overtime, back-to-back wins in OT. Panarin to Zibanejad. Last minute of OT, you put out Panarin and Zibanejad and see what happens, right? So
Another multi-point game for Panarin.
last
Well
game
on
of the
his
year,
way to 100 points.
can't hold anything back now. He's on pace probably for
Yeah, but did you watch the replay? Hellebuck came out to kind of play the shot by Panarin a little bit.
Yep.
Gave Zibanejad at the short side.
Yeah, Panarin on pace for 128 points after tonight. So,
And don't forget, they killed a penalty in overtime. That was big.
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Yes, it was.
First time in franchise history.
A few nice clears.
Little Ed, you're correct. First time in franchise history, the Rangers won every game of a 5-game road trip. So 7-2, looking good, boy. Back home to Carolina. Fans will start there next week with the Carolina game. Hope you enjoyed this road trip. I know some late starts, but I tried to stay up for as much of it as I could. We got Henrik Lundqvist induction coming up too, so I don't know what we're going to do for recording that week, but we'll keep you guys updated. And yeah, good night, boys.
Nice,
Go
fellas.
Rangers, big win.
Let's go,
It's
Rangers.
a happy night. Love you guys.
Love you
Love you
guys. Have a
guys.
good night, fellas.